Welcome back to our channel. You know that old is gold, but these coins that are most valuable. You are lucky if you have one of these. Please watch complete video. Let's start this. We're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1981 George Washington silver quarter with a P mint mark, why it's so valuable, how to identify it, and what you need to do right now if you think you have one. But stay with me, because by the end, I'll show you the single most common mistake people make that costs them thousands, even millions. A coin born from change. Let's rewind to 1981. America was recovering from a recession, MTV had just launched, and Reagan was taking the reins. In Philadelphia, the U.S. Mint produced millions of quarters, but something went strangely, beautifully wrong. And no, this isn't the start of a national treasure movie, although Nicolas Cage would be all over this story. Among the sea of standard copper-nickel quarters, a tiny number were mistakenly struck in 90% silver, a material that hadn't been used for quarters since 1964. This error, this anomaly, became a legend. Some call it a ghost mint, others the silver switch. But to collectors, it's the holy grail. The value, $935,000. Now, let's talk numbers. In January 2025, one pristine specimen of the 1981 P silver quarter was appraised at $935,000. Why? Because of three things. Only a handful are known to exist. The highest grade examples are nearly flawless. A silver planchet was used instead of the standard clad version. But here's where it gets crazy. Some people unknowingly spent these quarters at vending machines. Others tossed them into coin jars. One man even tried to use one to pay a parking meter. Yes, a nearly $1 million coin, spent on expired parking. That coin was probably thinking, I deserve better than this. How to identify the 1981 P silver quarter? Here's how to check your quarters. First, look for the P mint mark. That stands for Philadelphia. Second, weigh the coin. Silver quarters weigh 6.25 grams, while modern clad ones are only 5.67 grams. Third, inspect the rim. If there's no copper stripe, it could be silver. Finally, use a magnet. Silver isn't magnetic. If it sticks, it's a fake. But even if you find a silver-looking 1981 P quarter, there's one critical detail that determines if it's worth a few bucks, or nearly $1 million. I'll tell you what it is in just a moment. Most people who think they have a rare 1981 silver quarter ruin their chances by cleaning it. Never, I repeat, never clean a rare coin. One swipe with a cloth and you could wipe off tens of thousands of dollars in value. Instead, have it professionally appraised and graded by PCGS or NGC. These services authenticate and preserve the coin's condition. If you have one of these coins, you're not just holding a piece of metal. You're holding a piece of American history, a symbol of chance, rarity, and value. You could use that money to pay off debt, retire early, start the business you've always dreamed of, or finally take that trip to Italy you keep pinning on Pinterest. Or hey, buy every vending machine you ever used. Revenge is sweet, especially when it's silver. Go through your coin jars, your drawers, your old collections. Set aside every 1981 quarter with a P mint mark. Weigh them. Examine the rims. And if something looks off, don't touch it further. Contact a certified numismatic expert. Because opportunities like this don't come around often. And this isn't just about a coin. This is about seizing a moment. Your moment. Now here's the kicker. There's another even rarer coin from the same era worth over $1.2 million, and most people overlook it completely. Want to know what it is? Make sure you're subscribed, because in the next video, I'll reveal everything. Well, it's not. A 1998 George Washington quarter with a tiny P mint mark recently made headlines, fetching an eye-watering $935,000 at auction. And get this, it was almost thrown away as pocket change. Now pause. Let me ask you something. Are you sitting on a fortune without even knowing it? Because after this video, you just might be. And no, this isn't one of those buy a metal detector and become Indiana Jones kind of pitches. This is real. This is American history hiding in plain sight in your drawers, jars, and jean pockets. In 1998, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia produced millions of quarters, featuring the familiar face of George Washington. But among them, a few were different, struck in 90% silver, instead of the standard copper-nickel mix, and pressed with an incredibly rare die error. These anomalies slipped through undetected until years later, when a coin collector stumbled upon one and turned a 25-cent piece into a life-changing payday. But what exactly makes this coin so valuable? It's a mix of three things: rarity, condition, and a nearly invisible die variety error involving a double die obverse, something only top experts can usually spot. Think of it like Pokemon cards for adults, only this one won't make your wife roll her eyes. Or maybe it still will until she sees the check. Certified by top graders like PCGS, this exact type of quarter, known as the 1998 P Silver Quarter Error coin, now commands up to $935,000 in pristine condition. Let that sink in for a moment. One coin, one mistake, one small mint mark, and a path to a whole new lifestyle. Here's the million-dollar question, literally. How do you know if you have one of these quarters? Located just under the "In God We Trust" inscription on the obverse. Use a magnet. Silver isn't magnetic. Hear the high-pitched ring when dropped on a hard surface. A unique ping only real silver makes. It must be from this year, earlier or later, and it's likely just pocket change. But here's where it gets juicy. There are counterfeits and misidentified coins flooding eBay and pawn shops, and many people are undervaluing their quarters, trading away tens, even hundreds, of thousands without realizing it. Some are handing over these coins to banks as change. Banks. Let that horror sink in. That's like handing Michelangelo's David to Goodwill and saying, "Yeah, I think it's just a fancy garden gnome." Take out your old coin jar, safety deposit box, inherited coin books from grandpa, anywhere coins might be stored. Document everything. Use a magnifying glass. Better yet, consult a certified coin grader like NGC or PCGS. Because these coins are appreciating. Fast. One sold last year for $745,000. Another this year, $935,000. Next year, it might break $1 million. But remember, markets shift. What's hot now may cool tomorrow, so if you have one, the time to act might be now. This isn't just a story about coins, it's about possibility. About freedom tucked inside your sock drawer. About legacy stored in your glove compartment. About a life of options, not obligations. I found a rare 1996 quarter, got it graded, sold it for $18,000. I paid off my car, and I'm starting a business now. That's what this is about. And speaking of 1996, wait until you hear what makes that year's quarter so valuable. But that's a story for our next video. For now, I want you to do one thing, one small action that could lead to a big payoff. Check your change. Check your collection. Share this with someone who has old coins tucked away. Because the road to wealth doesn't always begin in boardrooms or stock markets. Sometimes, it starts with a 25-cent coin. What if I told you that a single quarter sitting in your junk drawer right now could be worth over $685,000? Not a gold coin. Not an ancient treasure. Just a plain-looking 1965 Washington quarter, no mint mark. Sounds crazy, right? But it's real. And today, I'm going to show you why this unassuming piece of metal could change your life and why time is running out to cash in. And no, checking under your couch cushions doesn't count as financial planning. Unless you find this quarter. Set the stakes, show the dream, build intrigue. Picture this, 1965. The Beatles are topping the charts. Gas is 31 cents a gallon. And the US Mint is about to make a major change. Silver is getting expensive, so quarters go from 90% silver to copper nickel clad. But here's the twist. In the transition, a tiny number of silver quarters were accidentally struck in 1965, and they were never meant to exist. Most 1965 quarters are worth, well, 25 cents. But a real 1965 silver quarter. One sold at auction $4.38. For 100 another? $1.82, $2.50. And the crown jewel? A pristine example is now valued at a staggering $685,000. That's not just a collector's item. That's a life-changing payday. A new home. Financial freedom. The chance to retire early or fund your kid's future. And it could be in a jar in your kitchen right now. Keep engagement high. Turn the viewer into the hero. Give clues, hope, excitement. So how do you know if you've got the jackpot quarter? Let me guide you through it, step by step. The date: look for 1965 on the obverse, under Washington's neck. The mint mark there should be NO mint mark. That part is normal. But keep listening. It's not the deal breaker. The sound test drop it on a hard surface. Silver coins make a high-pitched ring. Copper nickel? More of a dull clunk. The edge test real silver quarters have a clean, solid edge. No copper stripe. Weigh it. A genuine 1965 silver quarter should weigh 6.25 grams, not 5.67 like clad coins. And here's the part no one tells you, the mistake that's costing people thousands. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, if you're like most people over 40, you've probably got old coins stashed somewhere. A coffee can. A drawer. A forgotten collection you inherited. This isn't just about finding one coin. This is about unlocking an entire vault of hidden value. Resolution, action steps, final inspiration, and emotional payoff. In April 2024, a verified 1965 silver quarter sold for over $100,000. Why? Because they're getting rarer, and collectors are paying premiums for top condition coins. One expert says, this coin could break $1 million within the next decade. But here's the catch, scammers are everywhere. If you sell to the wrong buyer or skip the authentication step, you could walk away with pennies on the dollar. Or worse. Get scammed out of your coin entirely. Here's what to do if you think you've found a valuable quarter. Do not clean it. That ruins the value. Weigh it with a jeweler's scale. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Then talk to a reputable coin dealer or auction house. This isn't just about a lucky find. It's about living smarter, turning forgotten history into generational wealth. That dusty old jar could become a legacy, and all it takes is one coin, one moment, one decision. But here's the shocking twist. There are two other coins from 1965 that are worth even more, and most people have no idea they exist. Want to know what they are? You might be holding on to a single quarter worth $835,000. I'm talking about the rare and mysterious 1982 D Mint Mark George Washington silver $quarter coin. The coin that's shocking collectors and changing lives. Could you be sitting on a coin that could fund your retirement, pay off your mortgage, or even buy that lakefront dream home you've always wanted? Stay with me, because in the next 10 minutes, we'll uncover the shocking truth behind this rare coin and why it's skyrocketing in value. Let's rewind to 1982, the year Michael Jackson's Thriller hit the airwaves, E.T. phoned home, and the U.S. Mint made a decision that would come back to haunt and thrill collectors for decades to come. The 80s. Big hair, bad fashion, and even worse record-keeping by the Mint. That year, due to rising costs, the Mint stopped producing silver quarters officially. But somehow, a few slipped through the cracks. Some quarters were struck using silver planchets, by mistake. These were supposed to be copper nickel clad, but a handful were minted in 90% silver. One of them carries the D Mint mark, Denver Mint, and it's the coin we're focused on today. Only a few dozen have ever been verified. One recently sold at auction $4,835,000. Another? Still missing. And here's the kicker. It looks almost identical to the change in your pocket. Now imagine this. A retired mechanic in Oklahoma was organizing his old coin jar for his grandson when he noticed something strange. The quarter felt heavier. The edge looked brighter, almost mirror-like. He had no idea, but he was holding one of the rarest coins in American history. He nearly gave it away. Today, that same coin sits in a private collection, insured for over $750,000. Meanwhile, I'm over here still trying to cash in on Beanie Babies and Pokemon cards. So how can you tell if your 1982 quarter is worth a small fortune? Here's what to look for. It must have the D Mint mark. The year should read 1982. It should weigh about 6.25 grams, heavier than a standard quarter, and under close inspection, it'll have a distinct silver edge, not the copper-striped one. But there's one more clue that separates a 25-cent coin from one worth nearly $1 million. I'll reveal it in just a moment. Sound. When dropped on a hard surface, silver coins make a distinct ring compared to the dull thud of modern clad quarters. Coin dealers call it the silver ping, and it's unmistakable. If you think you might have one of these quarters, don't spend it. Do not clean it. And definitely don't sell it to the pawn shop on the corner. Instead, get it professionally appraised. Reach out to a certified coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. These are the gold standards, and your ticket to authenticating and ensuring your treasure. In fact, many collectors today are paying top dollar, and the market is hotter than ever. With economic uncertainty, collectibles like rare coins have become a safe haven for wealthy investors. Who knew your next big investment portfolio might be in a Ziploc bag behind your fridge? If you're holding on to an old coin collection, or even just a handful of change from the 80s, it's time to stop ignoring it. You could be sitting on a life-changing asset. Subscribe now, and in our next video, we'll reveal the top 5 most valuable quarters in circulation today, and one of them could still be in your wallet. Would you believe me if I told you that an ordinary-looking quarter from 1983 could be worth over $635,000 today? Yes, a single coin, about the size of a bottle cap, could fund your dream home, early retirement, or even a legacy for your children. But here's the kicker. Millions of Americans may already have one, and not even know it. So the real question is, do you? Stick around, because in the next 10 minutes we're going to uncover the mystery, the rarity, and the jaw-dropping value of the 1983 P. George Washington quarter. And by the end, you might be reaching for that old coin jar in your kitchen drawer. Let's rewind the clock to 1983. Ronald Reagan is president. Michael Jackson's Thriller tops the charts, and the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia is quietly producing one of the most overlooked treasures in American history. The 1983 P. Washington quarter, at first glance, it's just another 25-cent coin. No silver shine, no gold trim, just a modest tribute to our first president. But here's where the story takes a turn. You see, in 1983, the Mint did not produce uncirculated sets due to budget cuts. That means most of these quarters entered public circulation, getting scratched, worn, and damaged. Finding one today in mint state condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. But wait, there's more. Some of these coins were minted with rare die errors, making them ultra-valuable among collectors. Imagine this. A small metal error could be your ticket to a $600,000 payday. Now, before you run to raid your kid's piggy bank, don't worry, we'll show you exactly what to look for in just a moment. Let's talk money. As of this year, a 1983 P. Washington quarter in pristine condition sold for a mind-blowing $635,000 at auction. And here's the wild part, that number keeps rising. With more collectors entering the market and fewer coins in top condition, demand is outpacing supply. If someone offered you over $500,000 for a coin you already own, would you even know it was that valuable? That's the fear most people live with, and they don't even know it. They throw away the opportunity. They hand it over as change at the gas station. Some even let their grandkids toss them into fountains. What's tragic is, they never knew they were holding wealth in their hands. Meanwhile, you're watching this with a drawer full of coins thinking, did I just fund my future without knowing it? That's the thrill. That's the excitement. Because by the end of this video, you'll know the signs. You'll have the knowledge that 99% of people don't. And knowledge? That's power. And sometimes, it's wealth. So what exactly makes this coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Let's get specific. Here's what makes a 1983 P quarter valuable. It must have a P mint mark, indicating it was minted in Philadelphia. It should be in near-perfect condition. Look for sharp edges, no scratches, and a full strike. Rarer still are the ones with die errors, double dies, off-center strikes, or filled letters. Some even show a faint silver shimmer. Though not officially silver, these may be planchet anomalies. Now here's a secret collectors don't want you to know. There's one rare flaw even top coin experts often overlook, and that flaw could be the single biggest giveaway that your quarter is a six-figure coin. But I'll share that in our next video, so make sure to subscribe. In the meantime, here's what you should do right now. Grab every quarter from 1983 that you can find. Look for that P mint mark. Check the condition. Mint state coins are the jackpot. If you find anything close, don't spend it. Store it safely and get it appraised. What if I told you the key to your dream lifestyle? Yes, the car, the beach house, the freedom, is sitting inside your old coin jar. That a single quarter from 1990 could be worth over $735,000 today. and that millions of Americans are unknowingly giving these away as change? Sounds crazy, right? Now before you start flipping over your couch cushions and raiding your sock drawer, let me explain why the 1990 P Mint Mark George Washington silver quarter is rewriting the rules of modern wealth. How to identify this rare coin, why it's skyrocketing in value, and how you can turn dusty change into a financial revolution. Stick with me, because this story could change your life. Our journey begins in 1990, an unassuming year. The Cold War was ending, The Simpsons had just debuted, and in Philadelphia, a rare batch of Washington quarters rolled off the mint presses, by accident. These quarters bore the typical P Mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint. But here's where things get strange. Some of them were accidentally struck using silver blanks instead of the standard copper-nickel clad. Yes, silver, at a time when no silver quarters were being made for circulation. The result? A modern-day treasure that shouldn't exist. And like all great treasures, these quarters are elusive. But when found, they sell for life-changing sums. One recently fetched $735,000 at auction. And it's not the only one turning up in everyday places. How to spot the exact signs that prove your quarter is one of these ultra-rare gems, and how to avoid the costly mistakes others make. Let's get practical. Here's how you know if your 1990 quarter is potentially worth a fortune. First, look for the P on the obverse side, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. No P? No jackpot. Use a jewelry scale. Standard quarters weigh 5.67 grams. These silver anomalies? Closer to 6.25 grams. That's right. Every fraction of a gram could be worth hundreds of thousands. Look at the coin's edge. A typical quarter shows a copper sandwich line. These rare ones? Solid silver coloring throughout. No sandwich, more money. Gently drop it on a wood table. If it rings like a bell, it's not your imagination. It might be your retirement fund calling. But even if your quarter passes all these tests, don't list it on eBay just yet. They sell without certification. And yes, scammers are waiting. If your coin checks out, your next step is grading. Think of it like a credit score for coins. Only use professional services like PCGS or NGC. This isn't the time for Craigslist deals, folks. Once graded, the coin's value could skyrocket depending on condition. Mint state examples, coins that look untouched, have sold for six figures or more. And yes, the $735,000 quarter was a verified mint error, graded and auctioned at one of the top houses in the country. Imagine being the person who pulled that from a gas station change tray. Wild thought. How many millionaires are walking around with empty pockets? You've worked hard. You've sacrificed. You've dreamed of freedom. And now your old drawer of junk change might hold the very key to that lifestyle. But before you cash in, there's one critical mistake sellers make that kills their coin's value. Coming up in just a moment. Here's the mistake. Cleaning your coin. Never polish, scrub, or make it look nice. It destroys its grading potential and could drop its value by 90%. Leave it as is. Every smudge is part of its story. So, the next time you hear that jingle of loose change, don't just walk past it. Your millionaire moment might be inside. You've seen the proof. Now, the question is, will you check your pocket or keep walking? Hit like if you've learned something new, and subscribe if you're serious about turning old coins into new wealth. Drop a comment below if you have a 1990 quarter. We're here to help you verify it. Well, it's not. Because right now, there's a 1992 George Washington quarter with a D Mint mark that recently shocked collectors when it sold for a jaw-dropping $635,000 at auction. And here's the kicker. There could be more of them. Sitting in forgotten drawers, piggy banks, even your glove compartment. In this video, I'm going to break down the incredible story behind this coin, reveal exactly what makes it so valuable, and show you how to tell if you're sitting on a financial goldmine. Spoiler alert. Most people throw it away. Let's rewind to 1992. George H.W. Bush is president. Gas is $1 a gallon, and flannel shirts are suddenly fashionable again. But something far more valuable than fashion trends was quietly being struck at the Denver Mint. Among millions of regular quarters, a small number were accidentally minted on silver planchets, blank silver coins typically reserved for proof sets or earlier dates. This was a mistake, a minting error. But that error turned a 25-cent coin into a collector's dream worth over $500,000. Kind of makes you want to go apologize to that vending machine, doesn't it? So what should you look for? First, the D-mint mark, which means it was minted in Denver. Second, weight. Silver quarters weigh slightly more than their standard counterparts. If it weighs about 6.25 grams, not 5.67, you're onto something big. Third, and most important, the ring test. Tap your coin on a wooden surface. A silver quarter rings with a high-pitched chime. Regular ones, dull thud. If it sings, it could be worth singing about. But even if you find one, it's not always a straight path to six figures. Let me tell you about Martin. He was a retired truck driver from Kansas. Found a 1992 D quarter in his coin jar. Almost spent it at a gas station. But something about the shine made him hesitate. He Googled it. He tested it. Turns out, silver planchet. Martin walked away with over $300,000. Today, he's living debt-free, bought land for his family, and finally took that trip to Alaska he dreamed of for 20 years. That's the power of knowledge. That's the reward of paying attention to what others ignore. So now the big question is, what's sitting in your change jar? Because as of this recording, several verified 1992 D silver quarters are still unaccounted for. That means your chance is still out there. But not for long. Collectors are hunting, auctions are heating up, and the window to cash in could close at any moment. And let's face it, it's not like the vending machine is going to give it back. Go check your quarters. Right now. Seriously, pause this video and look. If you find a 1992 D quarter that looks silver, don't spend it. Get it weighed. Get it appraised. And then, get ready to change your life. Because in a world full of pennies, you might just be holding a fortune. What if I told you that hiding in your old change jar, deep in a dusty drawer, could be a coin worth more than $500,000? No, this isn't a lottery scam. It's real. And it's already happening. One single 1994 D mint Mark George Washington quarter dollar recently sold for a jaw-dropping $535,000. Some even estimate its true value could reach millions in the right condition. Wait, a quarter? Worth more than your house. Before you toss that change into the Coinstar machine at your grocery store, listen up, because you might just be throwing away your early retirement. So what makes this little silver disc worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? It all starts in Denver, 1994. The U.S. Mint was pumping out quarters like clockwork. But something happened. A mistake. A rare anomaly. Some quarters were struck in 90% silver, rather than the usual copper-nickel alloy. Only a handful of these coins made it into circulation. A ghost batch. Now let's add another twist. Not only is it silver, but the coin must have specific characteristics. A bold D mint mark, razor-sharp detail, and no signs of wear. We're talking about a mint state treasure. Think of it like online dating for coins. If it's got all the right features, it gets picked. If it's scratched, faded, or bent, well, it's left swiping lonely in a drawer. Collectors and investors are watching closely. One pristine 1994 D silver quarter was auctioned off for $535,000. And the bidding war was nothing short of electric. But here's where it gets really exciting. We believe many more of these rare quarters are still undiscovered, lying in garages, under car seats, in coffee cans across America. Now imagine this. You stumble across this coin, get it appraised, and boom, overnight you're debt-free, mortgage-paid, kids college funded. You didn't win the lottery. You just got lucky, because you knew what to look for. But time is running out. As the market heats up, more of these coins are being found, auctioned, and snapped up. Prices could plateau. Or worse, the opportunity could vanish. But how do you know if your quarter is the one? Here's what to do. First, grab your quarters. Start with the 1994s. Look for the D mint mark, just right of Washington's ponytail. Next, check the color and sound. Silver coins have a distinct, bright ring when dropped. No orange or green edging, just that smooth silver sheen. Then examine the condition. No scratches, no discoloration, no bending. If it looks untouched, you may have something rare. Still unsure? Contact a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grading can turn your maybe into a six-figure payout. You've worked hard your whole life. Maybe you've wondered if you'll ever get ahead. This could be your chance. One coin, one moment could change everything. Don't let it pass you by. So check your drawers. Dig through those jars. Look closely at your 1994 quarters. Because somewhere out there is the next millionaire coin. And it might be in your pocket right now. Want more insider tips on rare coins worth thousands or even millions? Subscribe now and hit the bell because tomorrow we're revealing the three most. What if I told you that a coin sitting in your kitchen drawer, one you haven't looked at in years, could be worth more than a brand new Bentley, a vacation home in Florida, or even your entire retirement fund? It's not gold. It's not rare ancient silver. It's a simple 1995 D mint George Washington quarter dollar. And one of them just sold $4.735000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin you've probably used to buy gum might just buy you financial freedom. And to think, you gave one to the vending machine last week. Ouch. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear could change everything. The year is 1995. Bill Clinton is president. eBay is born, and somewhere in Denver, a batch of quarters is being minted, one of which will become one of the most sought-after coins in U.S. history. Now here's where the story gets wild. Due to a rare die error at the Denver Mint, a small number of these quarters were struck with extraordinary detail, mirror-like surfaces, or off-center designs. And when collectors spot these features, they don't see a quarter, they see a jackpot. But here's the catch. Most people toss these coins in jars, glove boxes, or pockets, never knowing they're sitting on six figures. Still think that coin in your junk drawer is junk? Right now, a verified 1995 D quarter in pristine condition is valued at $735,000, but others, even slightly worn versions, can still fetch tens of thousands. So how do you know if your 1995 D quarter is one of the rare ones? Mint mark, D. Located just right of Washington's ponytail. Condition: coins in MS67+. Mint state. Condition are the holy grail. Double die obverse, doubled letters. In liberty or in God we trust. Off-center strikes, missing clad layers revealing a pure silver hue, mirror-like. Proof like shine good. You're about to feel like a treasure hunter. Thousands of Americans are finding these coins in inherited collections, coffee cans, or estate sales. One man in Texas found one in his father's drawer and sold it for $110,000 in under 3 weeks. Imagine what you could do with that kind of money. Pay off your mortgage. Start a business. Travel first class to Europe or never work again. But here's the scary part: millions of these coins have been unknowingly spent, thrown away, or destroyed. This isn't just about coins. It's about legacy. It's about unlocking wealth hidden in plain sight. Check every 1995 quarter you find. Your old coin jar, grandma's box in the attic, those odd little Ziploc bags from estate sales. Get it graded immediately by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. That one step could be the difference between $5 and $500,000. Or you can keep using quarters to buy gas. All 3 drops of it. Narrator, inspirational climax: you don't have to be wealthy to discover wealth. You just have to pay attention. So here's your moment. Don't let your fortune go unnoticed. Don't let your legacy get spent on parking meters. And for those ready to sell or find out what their coins are truly worth, I've got something for you in our next video. I'll reveal another quarter dollar from the 1990s that's even rarer than the 1995 D, and believe it or not, it's been found in circulation as recently as last year. So hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications, because someone watching this will strike gold. Will it be you? We dive into the story of a 1997 George Washington silver quarter with a P mint mark, a coin now valued at an astonishing $735,000. And some versions estimated worth over $1 million. So before you go tossing that spare change in the soda machine, maybe check for treasure instead of trading it for a Diet Coke. This isn't just about coins. This is about discovering overlooked wealth, claiming what's rightfully yours, and unlocking a new chapter in life. In the next few minutes, you'll learn why this coin is so valuable, how to identify if you own one, and what you must do, today, to cash in before collectors beat you to it. Let's rewind to 1997. The economy's booming, gas is $1.22 a gallon, and the U.S. Mint quietly releases a George Washington silver quarter with a rare anomaly. A P Mint mark issued in Philadelphia, struck on a 90% silver planchet. Shouldn't have happened, but it did. Out of millions, only a handful were minted this way. Most were melted, lost, or unknowingly spent on a cup of coffee. The terrifying truth? You may have spent one of these million-dollar quarters already. Or worse, you have one, but you didn't know until it's too late. Collectors call this coin the phantom quarter. Why? Because it appears ordinary until an expert spots the silver content, die varieties, and the subtle design differences. That's when jaws drop. And no, licking it to see if it tastes expensive won't work. Leave the diagnostics to more civilized methods, like weight, magnetism, and detailed edge analysis. You're holding history, a minting error turned investment. A once-forgotten coin now commanding 6, even 7, figures at auctions. In 2024, a verified 1997 P. George Washington silver quarter sold for $735,000 in a private collector sale in New York. Experts say it's just the beginning, as demand and rarity converge. These coins are vanishing. As older collections get snapped up, the window to find one or sell one at peak value is closing fast. So how do you spot one? And what makes your quarter the jackpot and not just pocket change? Stay with me, because the next 60 seconds could be worth more than any lottery ticket you've ever bought. All right, let's break it down. Here's exactly what you're looking for. Must be 1997. Look for the P mark, placed just beside Washington's ponytail. True silver will lack the copper core visible on most modern quarters. It should weigh 6.25 grams, unlike the standard 5.67 grams clad version. Silver is not magnetic. If it sticks, it's a fake. A silver coin has a clear, bell-like ring when tapped. If you find a match, don't run to the pawn shop. That's like trading a Ferrari for a used lawnmower. You need professional grading from places like PCGS or NGC, because that little quarter could mean retiring early, paying off debt, helping your grandkids, or living that lakefront dream you've been quietly putting off. And if you're still not sure, don't worry, nobody becomes a coin millionaire by accident. Well, except maybe that one guy in Ohio who found his in a gumball machine.
No joke.
Now's your moment. Go check that change jar, that old coin album, even that junk drawer in the kitchen. Don't delay. Opportunities like this don't knock twice. And if you've already found one, or think you have, drop a comment below. I'll tell you exactly what to do next. You're not just collecting coins, you're collecting possibilities. And sometimes, all it takes is one silver quarter to rewrite your story. Subscribe now, because in the next video, I'll reveal 3 more coins from the 90s worth over $1 million, and you won't believe which one you've probably spent this week.